This is Capital Games, I am the Wiz. And today is another gaming news roundup for the past 2 days of 5/16 and today 5/17, that's Tuesday and Wednesday. We got a lot of stories to get through, so why don't we start off first with the game that I am playing and showing on screen, which is of course Curse to Golf. I played another hour and a half of this in the past couple days. I'm still having fun with it. I have a few more complaints about it, but I think these will be ironed out when I play it more. The puzzle aspects are still fun. I still enjoy the gameplay loop, but I am finding it to be a little frustrating how the cursor moves a bit too fast to my liking at times. But that's also part of the skill of the game. But I also wish there were some ace cards or some power-ups that would allow me to slow that down as a power-up. For like the more challenging hits in that. But other than that, I'm having a good time, and it seems to be some more fun. So I'm going to play a little bit more of that, and I will discuss that a little bit more on Friday's edition of the Gaming News Roundup. So we'll get to that in a moment. First thing I'm going to talk about is the Game of the Week, and it comes out this Friday, and it's LEGO 2K Drive. LEGO 2K Drive was announced, I believe, a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago. And it looked to be a Forza Horizon-like game, but with Legos, and also had mini-games and the ability to create your own cars. So it looks like it's a mix of Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, Mario Kart, and Forza Horizon, which, sounds pretty fun, if you ask me, and might be fun for the younger set. Well, reviews have started coming down, and it looks to be okay, I guess. OpenCritic has it at a fair 72 OpenCritic rating, with only 32% of critics actually recommending it. It's kind of weird. It's above average, but only 32% of critics are recommending it. I find that a little strange, but anyway, we'll get right. With the positives, racing seems to be good, especially towards the end, that the races get really exciting around then. And then there's plenty of stuff to do, lots of mini games, lots of racing. Again, it's a mix of Mario Kart, Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, and Forza Horizon, if you like that mix. The big problem that a lot of people seem to be having with this game is that it is supposed to be for a younger audience. However, the game is stuffed with microcurrencies and microtransactions, which they find a little troubling as the game is being marketed to children. So this is starting to rub the reviewers the wrong way, which is kind of weird because reviewers as of recently have been trying to shy away from commenting on microtransactions, but a lot of reviewers now are doing that with this game specifically. Now, to be fair, the bigger outlets have not reviewed this yet. I don't think I saw an IGN or a GameSpot review. They might mention something else wrong with the game, or they might like the game and boost that rating up. But as of right now, the critical score is fairly average, with only a third of critics recommending the game. So if you're looking to pick it up, buyer beware, because it looks like you're going to be doing a lot of grinding and possibly spending more money to play the game that you are playing. So maybe steer clear of it if you want, or wait until it goes on to it. All right, so let's get into the first few stories that came up. A bunch of streams were announced around the time of Summer Games Fest, or what E3 was going to be. So let's start with the PlayStation Showcase. That has been announced for May 24th. That is next Wednesday. They're expecting an hour of announcements for games on PS5 and PSVR 2. Rumors are circulating that we're going to see a big dive on Spider-Man 2, which makes sense. There's also the possibility of another teaser for Wolverine, which I'm going to stretch credulity on. And then let's not forget that Insider Gaming a few months ago seemingly confirmed that there is a new Sony handheld for PlayStation that is supposedly being rumored to be announced here. So if that is true, we should be seeing that shown off as well. Now, do not get excited, because the report from Insider Gaming said that it was going to be a streaming only device, where you need to be on your Wi-Fi system and be attached to your PS5 in order to actually use the device, so don't get too excited. Next story is that BlizzCon returns in November, and this is the first time since 2019. This will mark the return after the release of Diablo 4. with really no rumored announcements as of yet. My bet is we're probably going to announce probably something new for Hearthstone and go into more detail as the new season of Diablo 4 as well as stuff for Overwatch 2. But we'll get more into Overwatch 2 in our story of the day. And finally, with showcase stream announcements, the Warhammer Skulls reveal stream is on 5/24. That is also next Wednesday. You should expect a behind-the-scenes look at Warhammer 40k Bolt Gun, while updates for games like Warhammer 40k Darktide, Rogue Trader, and Space Marine 2 are shown off, and then more on Total War Warhammer 3 will also be shown. These are actually decent streams. The Warhammer 40k license and Warhammer as well seem to get a lot of different diverse types of games. I know a lot of people are excited to see what Rogue Trader is like. I'm looking forward to Space Marine 2, so I will definitely check this out as well, and this will probably be before the PlayStation Showcase, so check that out if you are interested. All right, so let's talk about some announcements and shutdowns that were told for the past couple days. New Mortal Kombat will be officially revealed tomorrow on the 18th, which is Thursday. Rumors have speculated that this is a teaser video, that it could be the announcement of a complete reboot of the franchise titled Mortal Kombat 1, with a release date in November. There's also a small rumor that this could also be a complete reboot of Mortal Kombat 9, which I find a little strange. I think the Mortal Kombat 1 rumor is probably the more likely thing, especially since the teaser that they showed was a clock going from 11 to 1. So I would sense that this will be the announcement of the reboot tomorrow. So when that hits, we'll all know at that point. So we'll find out there. Telltale's The Expanse episodic series launches in July, with new episodes expected every 2 weeks. Wow, that is interesting. Telltale in the past has had a hard time keeping a schedule, so we'll see how that turns out. For those of you who don't know The Expanse is, and I had to look this up myself, is a TV show that's based on a book series of the same name that started on Sci-Fi for 3 seasons, or Sci-Fi, I think. I hate that name. It says Sci-Fi, but it's actually Sci-Fi. Why don't they just call it Sci-Fi? It started on Sci-Fi, and it was for 3 seasons, and then it went to streaming for Amazon Prime for 3 seasons. It developed a kind of cult following, and it lasted 6 seasons, but it's not coming back, I guess unfortunately, on this one. But this might be the continuation of that after the 6 seasons, so I'm not expecting big sales on this. Maybe not. Maybe it might sell okay. I'm not really sure what the fan base of The Expanse is, but it looks interesting. I really want to know what happens with the every 2 weeks an episode pops up. I want to see if that works out, because if it does, then it looks like Telltale has their stuff in order. But if it doesn't, this could be kind of a disaster. So we'll see what happens when that comes out. Reports claim that Assassin's Creed Mirage will be releasing in October. This will likely be announced on the Ubisoft Forward stream that will be coming in June. This was supposed to be released in the beginning of the year, and that got pushed back around the beginning of the year as well. So, and this is supposed to be the smaller Assassin's Creed that's coming out, but I think this is still a full-price game, which I find a little weird. It also looks like that Ubisoft is also planning to increase the staff of Assassin's Creed by 40%. This is not really a surprise. Last year, they announced like 4 or 5 different projects for Assassin's Creed. 2 mobile projects, a free-to-play project, Mirage that was being announced, and then they also announced one based on the Salem witch trials. So they're really doubling down on Assassin's Creed. So it's interesting that they're going to be bolstering the staff for Assassin's Creed. But we know how these things happen, though, as well, as if once these start bombing, like after 1 or 2, that's going to be a lot of people to lay off. That could spell a disaster for Ubisoft in there. So hopefully it works out for everybody involved. But I'm going to keep my eye on that, because that could be a disaster. Next up, XDefiant is now on the slate for 2023, 2024 release. The preview coverage that has been going out for the past week and a half, 2 weeks has been pretty positive, actually. So people are excited about that game. So it'll be interesting to see what comes out of it and when it will be released. It is a free-to-play title. I don't think they're doing an early access launch. I'm not entirely sure. It's interesting to see how that will turn out. They made some positive changes to the game, and people who got into the closed beta seem to be pretty happy with it. So we'll see how that. And finally, Nintendo is shutting down and delisting Pac-Man 99, leaving only Tetris 99 still running and on the eShop. About a year ago, I believe, they also shut down and delisted Super Mario Bros. 35. This is not too shocking. I know that people tried out Pac-Man 99 when it first came out for about a month or so, and then that kind of fell off. But Tetris 99 still has a devoted following who still play the game, so that's not surprising that it's still running. I don't know if this means that Nintendo will try this again with other properties. It will be interesting when they do, but I'm going to just bet that this might be the last one we see. And that maybe when the new console comes out, they'll probably update Tetris 99 to a certain extent. So onwards with sales and investments. Star Wars Jedi Survivor tops the US charts in April. It's currently the 4th best-selling game this year to date, according to Circana's, which is formerly the NPD Group. With the only game surpassing that is Resident Evil 4, Modern Warfare 2, and the current leader of the year right now, Hogwarts Legacy. I think I'm comfortable saying that is probably going to change, because it looks like the one that is going to beat it is Tears of the Kingdom, which reaches 10 million units sold in 3 days' time. It is the fastest selling Nintendo game in both Europe and the Americas. You know, after this, I think I'm going to stop pontificating on sales, because I clearly am wrong a lot on this. So that is unfortunate on my end. Am I surprised by the sales? Not really. Again, I still think it's not going to beat Breath of the Wild right away, but it would probably take the next generation console for it to be backwards compatible, or to re-release it on that for it to actually beat Breath of the Wild. So that's my opinion still, but that's definitely interesting on that end. Speaking of investment, the Saudi Arabia's Kingdom Investment Fund has increased its financial stake in EA to 9%. This is after they increased its claim in other companies like Nintendo at an 8% plus stake recently. Saudi Arabia has also purchased stock for its Kingdom Investment Fund in Activision and Take-Two. They are also a majority shareholder, which is 96% of SNK Corporation. And this is likely not stopping. The Kingdom Investment Fund is a investment group that the Saudi prince is using to divest themselves from being just a country that is mainly on oil. So in that investment case, that is a smart idea on their end. But this still gives people a bad taste in their mouth when they hear these stories. I hate to tell you this at this point, but this is going to be something that continues. I don't know exactly which gaming companies they're probably going to try and go after. I have long thought it probably might be From Software. It could be other companies like that could increase their investment portfolio and get more money from Saudi Arabia. It could also be Ubisoft, now that I come to think of it. But we will see when that happens, but I would expect this story to keep evolving and keep going on as time moves on. And now for the top story of today for the last few days, and that is that Overwatch 2 officially cancels its co-op PvE content. If you recall the original stream that happened, I think it was on BlizzCon in 2018, when they announced Overwatch 2, the big thing that they were showing off was it was going to have a lot of single-player and PvE content that was going to be in the game. They haven't really discussed the PvE content all that much, Story missions are still going to be going on, and they're going to be on track for release in August on Season 6. This is the mode that promised a robust leveling system and skill tree system for all your characters while playing this narrative-based PvE mode. On a live stream updating the game's features, executive producer Jared Noose said that while the mode had a bunch of amazing content with awesome villains and a lot of interesting gameplay mechanics, the effort to pull it together was not worth completing, and it was not up to their standards, so it's being canceled. I have got to say, even though the gameplay in Overwatch is good, Overwatch 2 actually is good, it is essentially Overwatch 1, but with 5v5, this release of Overwatch 2 has been kind of a boondoggle. It's been pretty bad at this point. The original release had a lot of controversy with the amount of money that you have to spend to level up and get skins, and now it looks like content that was promised is being absolutely taken out, which to me at this point makes me wonder why Overwatch 2 was made in the first place. Because at this point, you could have just updated Overwatch 1, but now people have purchases of Overwatch 1 or discs of Overwatch 1 that are completely useless at this point. I have one for Xbox, and it's now completely useless, so I know how you guys feel on that one. I know there are some journalists and some people saying, hey, this stuff happens, this is very difficult, don't get too mad because, you know, this is just thing that happens. But the thing is, people were upset that they were going this route in the first place and not happy that they were shutting down Overwatch 1 to do this. On the one hand, I do agree, don't get obnoxious and get threatening with the developers for doing this. But on the other hand, I can understand being disappointed and being a little upset as well that you are now given either the same game or, to some people, a lesser game that you had with Overwatch 1. I think at this point, Activision and Blizzard have to do something unique with Overwatch 2 to not give it the bad taste in the amount that a lot of people have over the game. I don't know how the popularity is of Overwatch 2 is right now, but I know a lot of people were not happy when it was released, even though they still played it. I had fun playing Overwatch 2, personally, but I didn't stay with it, because I thought the mechanics of leveling up the battle pass and what you got as a reward were way too stingy. They just were not something that I found rewarding enough, so I bounced off of it fairly quickly, like after a week or two. I don't know if that's changed. I honestly don't care. I'm not going back to it. So yeah, that's all I gotta say about that. That's pretty disappointing, but I understand why people are upset by it. But don't be addicted to developers. Just don't play the game if you don't like it that much. That's what I would say usually. If you were that upset, don't be addicted to developers. Just stop playing the game. That's all you gotta do. All you gotta do. That's what I do, at least. Like, at this point, if the developers are not making the game I like, I'm not gonna keep complaining. I'm just gonna cancel my time with it. I'm just gonna say goodbye. I'm done. Maybe I'll come back when you're better. That's my take on that. That is it for the gaming news roundup for May 17th, 2023, going over the past few days of news. I will be coming back Friday with all the gaming news that happened in the next 2 days. And then on Saturday, I will be doing the weekly dividend, going over the big news that happened throughout the week while playing something else for the video as well. So if you have comments or anything that you want to discuss in the weekly dividend or on the gaming news roundup on Friday, let me know in the comments or email me at zerowizcast@gmail.com. I have also changed my Twitter handle. I am that Wiz. That is my handle now on Twitter. That's a little hint to what we might be renaming everything in the near future. So look forward to that. And on that note, that is it for the gaming news roundup. And this is it for this episode of Capital Games. Tune in next time where I talk about all the news that is happening on the gaming industry. I am the Wiz. Talk to you next time. Bye. Thank you for checking out Capital Games, where we cover the business side of the video game industry. Please like, subscribe, and comment if you enjoyed the video. You can also subscribe to the podcast if you prefer to have it on your podcast feed. And check us out on our socials and email us if you have a question, comment, or suggestion. Thank you for watching and listening. We'll hear from you next time.